and Myler just comes back to deal with the situation, and Christensen deep inside his own half now for Denmark. Serbia barely had a slip in the opening 90 seconds. And Rasmus Højlund is on the burst again, but Serbia just about managed to regather the ball, and they're popping it around now just outside their own penalty area, back with the goalkeeper. And now it's fizzed out towards Mihailovic on the right-hand side for Serbia, who wedges it up and over halfway. Denmark back in possession, and Denmark have the ball now with Kasper Schmeichel, who takes a touch with his right foot and then just with his instep caresses the ball out to Andersen just outside his own penalty area. It is Andersen for Denmark who goes back to Kasper Schmeichel inside his own penalty area, and Kasper Schmeichel nicks it out towards Vestergaard. Vestergaard on the left-hand side for Denmark, and Mæhle wanted the ball played infield, didn't come to him. Christensen will just nudge the ball back once again to Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel venturing just to the edge of his own penalty area and then zipping the ball out to Andersen a couple of yards in from the touchline on the right hand side for Denmark, and he's gone along towards Rasmus Højlund, and Rasmus Højlund now against Milenkovic, and Rasmus Højlund can't quite get there first. Rasmus Højlund wants a free kick, not going to get one. Milenkovic does well right by his own corner flag in the left back slot, and eventually Rasmus Højlund was just leaning on Milenkovic and had a chunk of his shirt as well, and the free kick is awarded for Serbia deep inside their own half. So, less than 3 minutes played. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Serbia have a free kick right by the corner flag. Goalkeeper Rajkovic is going to take it, and he just gesticulates to get everyone further forward for Serbia, and of course Mitrovic was the intended target, but Denmark are back in possession. And it is in fact going to be a throw for Denmark on that right-hand side. So Denmark, with 3 minutes on the clock, are still at 0-0. And, well, an early yellow card is actually being brandished here by the referee. And I think Milenkovic might have had that one coming. And there aren't too much in the way of protestations, actually, because Milenkovic was just grabbing the back of Rasmus Højlund as Rasmus Højlund tried to scamper through. And Milenkovic just had that right arm right on the shirt, and he just managed to pull down slightly on the neck almost of Rasmus Højlund, and as a result it will be a free kick for Denmark on the right hand side, right about 10 yards outside the penalty area, just about level with the outer line of that penalty area on the right hand side to give you a sense of the dimensions. And it will be a free kick now for Denmark. Christian Eriksen, of course, looks favourite to take it. And Christian Eriksen, I think, is going to swing this one into the penalty area right-footed. Over 4 minutes played. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Christian Eriksen will sweep this one into the penalty area shortly. And two other Danish players just in close proximity, but I think it is going to be Christian Eriksen to take it right-footed. Everyone else now has moved away from the ball. Christian Eriksen wants the option short, but Christian Eriksen trying to slide it through into the penalty area. There's the effort on goal. There's a comfortable save actually for Rajkovic. It was a nice enough idea by Christian Eriksen, just trying to feed the ball into the penalty area, and he just saw Win get a little bit of space on the edge of the box, and Christian Eriksen popped the ball 7 or 8 yards forward into the feet of Win, and Jonas Win just couldn't quite get clean enough contact on it to create the situation required to truly test the goalkeeper. But the first strike on goal is a Denmark strike, and we are very, very early on in the contest, of course. But as it stands, England would have 5 points, Slovenia 3, Denmark 2, and Serbia would have, well, Denmark would have 3 and Serbia would have 2. So it's absolutely fine margins out there, isn't it? And of course we will let you know exactly what all this means as it unravels. Key takeaway really in terms of the permutations is that for Denmark, a win would see them through 100%. A draw might be enough. For Serbia, they must win tonight, so it does lend itself to what should be a really free-flowing attacking game of football. Kasper Schmeichel has the ball inside his own 6-yard box, pings the ball out to the right-hand side and finds Andersen. And forward come Denmark now on the right-hand side, and Denmark are in possession on that right-hand side. In fact, they've got a throw in now. It's about midway inside the Danish half on that right-hand side, and Barr's going to take it. See too much of Barr in the opening 6 minutes or so. Back to Kasper Schmeichel in goal for Denmark tonight. Kasper Schmeichel, 7 years of age now, the Anderlecht man. All those years at Leicester City before going to Nice and finding himself in Belgium. Denmark in possession. Højbjerg has the ball for the Danes, and he just gives a little bit of a daisy cutter to the left-hand side and finds Mæhle. Mæhle 10 yards inside, looking for the run of Højbjerg. And Denmark are doing the early pressing and trying to find a way through. Serbia do come away with the ball, and Mitrovic with a touch. Mitrovic's touch is a little bit heavy. He has just about managed to retain possession inside the Serbia half, and Serbia have the ball now on the left-hand side. They try to cross halfway, can't quite do so, and the ball is kept in play just about. Højbjerg comes across to tidy up what was a previously pretty messy situation, and Højbjerg, Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, the Tottenham man, deals with it well in the end. Denmark give it away, and Christian Eriksen was the culprit, but Christian Eriksen nicks back in to win the ball back, and Højbjerg has seen an awful lot of the ball in the opening exchanges, and Christian Eriksen goes all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. And Kasper Schmeichel goes out to his right-hand side, and Denmark coming forwards once again, and Andersen tries to fling it in towards Christian Eriksen. He's 35 yards from goal. Christian Eriksen's touch was a little bit heavy. It was actually a lovely ball played into him by Andersen, and Christian Eriksen ran about 40 yards from goal with a heavy burst touch. And Serbia have the ball back, just shy of 8 minutes played in this contest between Denmark and Serbia. 0-0 the score in this Group C game. Worth noting it is also England 0, Slovenia 0 elsewhere. And as it stands, no goals in this final round of group stage fixtures in Group C. The ball was right on halfway. It's going to be a throw-in for Serbia on the left-hand side. Over 8 minutes played, and Serbia have the ball deep inside their own half. Milenkovic is on a yellow card already, don't forget. Links it right-hand side to Veljkovic. Veljkovic trying to come into midfield now. Veljkovic has the ball once again for Serbia. Serbia nicking it around quite nicely. Some clever triangles, albeit inside their own half. And the ball is played to the left-hand side now. Pavlovic gets a touch on it, and then Groupe also with a touch right back to his goalkeeper. But Serbia going nowhere in a hurry. Denmark now sensing an opportunity for the high press. And Rasmus Højlund was just asking a question or two of the goalkeeper to keep him honest. And Denmark win the ball back, and it's gathered now by Mæhle. Mæhle with the touch inside for Hulman, who scored that absolutely glorious goal. And it is now Mæhle who touches the ball back for Christensen inside the Denmark half, all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. And Kasper Schmeichel considered going long, instead goes to the right-hand side and finds Andersen. And Andersen, the Crystal Palace defender, tried to find Rasmus Højlund in a forward position, but Rasmus Højlund was just out-muscled slightly, I think, by one or two Serbia defenders. And as such, the ball is now back with Serbia. And it's all been a little bit scrappy, hasn't it, the opening few exchanges. And it is collected now at the back by Denmark once again. And Christensen takes custody over the ball, and now it's Vestergaard. Vestergaard goes to his right-hand side and finds Andersen, who's seen an awful lot of the ball early on. Here's Hulman. Hulman nicks it into Rasmus Højlund, who's dropping a little bit deep. Rasmus Højlund loses possession, and Serbia are back with the ball at their feet just outside the penalty area. So Serbia have the ball. 10 minutes on the clock. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score. You can cut the tension with a knife inside this ground. You really, really could, because these stakes are just so high in tournament football. And Serbia know they must win to stand any chance of qualifying for the last 16 tonight. Serbia have possession, just shy of halfway, on the right-hand side. Ilic hasn't seen too much of the ball in the opening 10 minutes or so, just clips it inside, left-footed towards Groupe. And Groupe now nicking forward towards Mitrovic, and Mitrovic goes to his right-hand side. This is better from Serbia, more controlled possession, you feel, in the game. And Mitrovic's touch on wasn't a bad one whatsoever, and Serbia do manage to retain possession. And the final pass is just a shade too thick, and as such, the ball goes out of play for a goal kick for Denmark. But really, for the first time in the game, we see Serbia making inroads on that left-hand side, and Serbia quite managing to find a way through in the end. Remains England 0, Slovenia 0 in the other game, which we will of course keep you updated on. Here it is Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and no real chances in the game so far. One attempt a goal from Wynn, who snatched a strike away from Christian Eriksen. Cleverly worked free kick actually into the arms of the goalkeeper. Rasmus Højlund is currently engaged in a little bit of a debate with the referee, and I don't think Rasmus Højlund is particularly relishing that battle with Milenkovic. And Milenkovic already on a yellow card for an earlier tussle with Rasmus Højlund, and it might be one for Rasmus Højlund to see what he can extract out of Milenkovic over the course of the next 80 minutes or so. It is Serbia in possession inside their own half, but as has been the case in the opening exchanges, Serbia haven't really been able to find any kind of momentum through midfield in the game. Serbia have the ball once again at the back, and they play it now into midfield, and certainly trying to get Ilic on the ball more. And I think that's a wise strategy really from Serbia, because Ivan Ilic, the Torino man, is really effective at club level, and interesting indeed to see what he can produce tonight. He scored 3 goals last season for Torino, but it's not so much as goal scoring Ilic, it's the way he manages to control games, and generally speaking with Torino, if he plays well, then the whole side play well. The game remains 0-0 between Denmark and Serbia, 0-0 elsewhere between England and Slovenia in Group C. This final batch of Group C games. Serbia have the ball now outside their own penalty area, and Serbia really have struggled to move the ball with sufficient pace out from the back into the midfield. It's an opportunity now to fire the ball long for Mitrovic, who'd rather lost out in terms of the physical duel with Mæhle, and now Denmark want to throw in on the left-hand side, just over halfway on their left-hand side. And you'd have to say that Serbia have been a little bit sloppy in the game, and Denmark have been the better of the two sides without really creating too much. Serbia have the ball once again now inside their own half, and Serbia are starting to see more of the ball, and potentially a better sign now for Serbia as they come forward in the form of Zivkovic. Zivkovic offloaded on that left-hand side, and Serbia once again are forced a little bit further backwards, and now they do regather possession on the right-hand side. Serbia have it once more, and this time it is collected by Ilic again, and Ilic now onto the right-hand side of Veljkovic, and all of a sudden Serbia is starting to look much more promising. Samadžić does gather once more, and it is now Serbia who are enjoying a little spell of possession, and Lazar Samadžić, the Udinese man, is another player who's had a really good season domestically, and now's an opportunity for Serbia to come forward, and everyone behind the ball for Denmark, except for Rasmus Højlund, it should be noted. Here comes Serbia inside the penalty area, but Denmark just have the bodies back there to pacify the danger. And Denmark coming forward now for Christian Eriksen, who tried to help him forward towards Rasmus Højlund. Højlund with the touch, and Christian Eriksen now to feed it to his right-hand side. Denmark with the ball inside the centre circle, and it's played now on the right-hand side for Bar. Bar goes back inside, and Denmark in possession once again. Collected now by Højbjerg, and Højbjerg just brings it forward a couple of yards and goes to his left-hand side and finds Mæhle. And Mæhle now on the scamper on the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. Mæhle for Denmark goes back 15 yards in the end, and Mæhle goes to his right-hand side and finds Højbjerg. Højbjerg once more, and it is all Denmark now inside the Serbia half, and we've got 15 minutes on the clock. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score, gathered by Hulman. Hulman goes back inside towards Vestergaard, and all of a sudden Denmark lose possession. Here is Mitrovic inside the centre circle. Mitrovic past 1, it's Alexander Mitrovic. Mitrovic tries to go past 2 and very nearly does go past 2, and Mitrovic was a little bit isolated in the end, and it's now regathered by Denmark once again. Denmark have the ball just outside the centre circle on that right-hand side, and it is Denmark with the ball, and Højbjerg who gathers it. Now Christian Eriksen 35 yards from goal, finds Rasmus Højlund just to the left of the penalty area. The Manchester United man looking for options. Rasmus Højlund on his right foot. Rasmus Højlund leaves it for Mæhle. Mæhle just outside the penalty area. Mæhle's ball in. There's a really good one. There's the header. It's off target in the end. Might have been offside. Bar has a look at the referee. And my goodness, Denmark were very close to carving out a wonderful opportunity. It was really cleverly done by Mæhle on that left-hand side. And right-footed, he just swung the ball into the penalty area. And Bar felt as though he was fouled actually in the process. And Bar went down under the challenge inside the penalty area. I don't think it is a penalty. Zivkovic was the man who made contact with Bar. Certainly the suggestion was from Bar that he was fouled, but the referee having absolutely none of it. You just wonder whether Bar tried to shrug off that contact and really got cleaner contact with the header. He could have caused problems for the Serbian goalkeeper. So Denmark with another little glimmer, another little opening in the game. 16 and a half minutes played. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Serbia pouring down the left-hand side. Lovely ebb and flow to this game from the neutral perspective. Denmark win it back now on Højbjerg. Højbjerg turns it round the corner for Win. And Win now on the right-hand side for Bar. And Bar inside the Serbian half. And Denmark now just slowed the pace of the attack a little bit. But they are still in possession inside the centre circle. And it is Andreas Christensen, Barcelona defender, who is momentarily in possession. Denmark still have it now with Hulman, and Hulman goes to Bar on the right hand side, a couple of yards in from the touchline, around about 45 yards from goal, and it's collected now by Christensen. Christensen zips it in towards Christian Eriksen. Bar has it on the right hand side. Bar trying to find Win, and Win just tees it off invitingly. Denmark popping the ball around nicely. Mæhle now on the left hand side, just outside the penalty area, entering the penalty area now. It's Mæhle, goes to this left hand side, angles a cue, trying to feed it across the face of goal, wins a corner kick for Denmark. And Denmark now starting to ask one or two questions, and Denmark are beginning to knock on the door. And all of a sudden, Joachim Mæhle on that left hand side, who can be so effective when he's just given a little bit of room and loves a one-on-one situation, is the man who's trying to make things happen for Denmark. Corner kick then for the Danes. Will be taken right-footed on the left-hand side. Christian Eriksen will be the man to take. Rasmus Højlund and others lurking and jostling for position inside the penalty area. 18 minutes play. Christian Eriksen right-footed with the corner kick, floats it in behind for another corner kick for Denmark. Again on the left-hand side, and again Christian Eriksen will be the man to take it. So, Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Remains England 0, Slovenia 0 in the other game in Group C. And the corner kick now for Denmark. Christian Eriksen is standing over it. And Christian Eriksen gives the signal, raises that left arm. Christian Eriksen now right-footed from the left-hand side, hangs up the cross towards the back stick. Goalkeeper comes, it's a really poor corner actually, because Rajkovic takes that one very cleanly out of the air. And it is the goalkeeper's ball. Very calmly indeed. So, Denmark 0, Serbia 0, England 0, Slovenia 0. Those are the current results as it stands in Group C. Rajkovic pings the ball away for Serbia towards the left-hand side. Denmark win the ball back, and Rasmus Højlund might have just handled the ball. Certainly that was the feeling of the Serbian defenders. I don't think it's going to be given though, and it's going to be a throw-in for Denmark on the right-hand side. Milenkovic isn't happy. Rasmus Højlund increasingly involved in the last 5 minutes or so. Did he just raise the left arm to make contact with the ball? He well might have done, but missed by the referee. And there's a throw in now which Bar will take on that right hand side. Bar assessing options, level with the edge of the penalty area, and Bar takes the throw into the penalty area, and Rasmus Højlund was looking to pick up the pieces off the winner, just got a touch down. Serbia now with Mitrovic 30 yards from goal, can't quite get it away though. Christian Eriksen nods it back into his own half, and that'll be mopped up at the back by Christensen. Christensen rolls his studs over the ball, thought about going left, instead goes short and goes right. And now Højbjerg keeps it moving, and Andersen, who's had a good 20 minutes actually as Andersen for Denmark, regathers the ball inside his own half. Collected now once again by Bar. Bar on the right hand side. And it is Vestergaard who does gather. Played over 20 minutes. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Not really too many clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities to speak of so far. Win did have a strike on goal, which was comfortably saved by Rajkovic, and also there was a header from Bar, but Alexander Bar just couldn't quite find a way through. Long ball now played forward for Denmark, and Serbia can only get it up rather now, just outside the penalty area now. Denmark do regather the ball, but the whistle has gone. It's going to be a free kick for Serbia just outside their own penalty area. I think it was the foul from Rasmus Højlund, and It is now Serbia who do have the ball. Serbia have given it away. It's Rasmus Højlund. Now Christian Eriksen with the strike. And Christian Eriksen is a whisker wide. Just zipped the strike away. Right-footed. It came to him after a poor piece of play from Serbia. Rasmus Højlund with the touch inside. And Christian Eriksen right-footed. First time. Didn't need a second invitation. He was round about central in the goal. And the goalkeeper Rajkovic actually gets very important fingertips on it to nick it away for a corner kick for Denmark. It's Denmark who are asking the questions, and it's Christian Eriksen who's starting to make things tick for his side. Christian Eriksen now will take the corner. On that left-hand side, right-footed, Christian Eriksen's ball into the heart of the penalty area. It's up rather now, still not properly cleared by Serbia. It's a bit scrappy inside the penalty area, in fact. And will Denmark manage to nick a strike away inside the box? It's Christian Eriksen with the effort. Might have another go here. Christian Eriksen hangs it up into a really decent area, and Serbia trying to get the ball away, and eventually it's very, very messy indeed. It's behind for a corner kick for Denmark. But Denmark now are really, really on top in the game and desperately seeking the opening goal of the game as well. So, it is Christian Eriksen who I think is going to take this corner from the right-hand side as well. Christian Eriksen is indeed trotting across to take it. On the right-hand side, different signal as he raises both his arms and waves them about in a signal for the Danish players. Christian Eriksen zips in the corner kick and it's bundled over the line. Is that a goal? Referee says no. Well, the ball's in the back of the net, and VAR's going to have a look at this one, of course. Lukic is having a word with the referee, and certainly Wynn is saying there was no foul in there. The ball is in the net. The goal has not been given. Christian Eriksen it was who swung it in, and was that... Well, it's a fascinating situation because Rajkovic and Wynn are tangled amongst each other. It comes off Wynn into the back of the net. Wynn is just whacking his finger at the referee, and he's saying that should be a goal. And the referee says no goal. The VAR, of course, had a look at it. And so it's a bit of a let-off really for Serbia there, got to say, because it wasn't conclusive at all from the replays we've seen on our monitors here. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score, and it does remain England 0, Slovenia 0 elsewhere in the group. But Denmark with a really good passage of play, and I think they're now starting to show that they are the better side in this contest. And well, it's going to be really interesting, isn't it, to see what Serbia try and do in the second half, because Serbia of course must win this game. They must win this game to stand any chance of qualifying. And as it stands, it's such a tight group, it really is. I mean, that has been the case throughout the duration really in Euro 2024. Just this extra addition of the best third place side does add another little something to proceedings, doesn't it? It is Denmark in possession, right on halfway in, on the left-hand side, I should say. Christian Eriksen around the corner, looking for Rasmus Højlund, couldn't quite find Rasmus Højlund. No free kick, says the referee. Denmark certainly wanted a free kick, and a couple of occasions where the battle between Milenkovic and Rasmus Højlund has certainly fallen in Milenkovic's favour. But Rasmus Højlund, as we know, only needs a moment. Ball is back now with Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel on the edge of his 6-yard box, and Denmark have had 61% possession in the game. Serbia have had 39, and Denmark have had 4 corners and really have been on top in the contest. And Denmark have the ball once again, and Christian Eriksen turns it around the corner looking for Rasmus Højlund. They're very, very close to linking up very effectively up Rasmus Højlund and Christian Eriksen. Hasn't quite happened for Denmark so far in the game, and you feel as though Christian Eriksen in the last 5 minutes or so has really started to manage to make things happen and be so dangerous in these kind of situations. So here are Serbia on the left-hand side. I haven't seen anything really of Serbia in an attacking sense in the game so far, and I think one of the big concerns will be just how isolated Alexander Mitrovic has been. Denmark trying to win the ball back high up the pitch, and it remains Denmark 0, Serbia
nil. If you're just joining us, there's really been too many clear-cut opportunities. Denmark have had the ball in the back of the net. It's been it was disallowed, I should say, for a foul on the goalkeeper from Win, and it is the case in Denmark really with a couple of half chances. Bar had a decent header, and it was Jonas Win who had a strike after a Christian Eriksen free kick that also tested the goalkeeper, but so far no real clear opportunity for Denmark to take the lead. Certainly nothing of the same ilk from Serbia, who so far haven't really got going, have they? A lot of quality on the bench, you know, to Serbia. I mean, those who follow Serie A over the years, absolutely fascinating that Milinkovic-Savic is on the bench. I mean, Lazio's best players for many, many years. A real player of absolutely huge quality. Vlahovic as well, so fascinating lineup put out there by Serbia today. They do have options off the bench, and Pavlovic goes down. A yellow card has been shown now for Jonas Win, and Jonas Win has a wry smile and just moves away from the ball. And it was Pavlovic who got there first. Just the right studs of Win went up on his opposite man and raked down a little bit, and as a result it is a free kick for Serbia. Serbia at this early stage might just want to get in at half time really and regroup a little bit. So it is gathered by Rajkovic at the back for Serbia. Serbia haven't really been able to move the ball with any kind of purpose out from the back. They have the ball now on that right hand side, gathered by Veljkovic, and Veljkovic goes back inside to Ilic, and Ilic just moves the ball 5 yards to his left hand side and finds Milenkovic, and Milenkovic invited forward. All of this, they've still been playing inside the Serbia half. Now they go slightly longer, looking for the run of Lukic. Doesn't quite come off, and the touch initially was from Anderson, who's probably been the best player, or one of the best players on the pitch for Denmark in the opening 28 minutes of the game. And it is a Denmark ball. Serbia were trying to find a way through. It's a little bit scrappy from both sides, to be honest. Now Serbia put the ball into the penalty area. Rather, it's been a case really for Serbia in the opening 28 minutes, but in that final third it's been very, very scrappy, and possession changing hands really quickly indeed. Serbia have the ball now with 28.5 minutes on the clock. Serbia in possession on their right hand side, and it was Veljkovic trying to make things happen. Now Milenkovic goes to his left hand side. All of this has been played just inside the Denmark half. Everyone behind the ball except for Rasmus Højlund. Now Rasmus Højlund's trying to apply a little bit of pressure. Rasmus Højlund's hunting down Rajkovic in goal for Serbia, and launched long into the centre circle for Serbia, where the ball will just scuttle back and drip back almost, and will be a throw-in deep inside the Serbia half. One big thing that will be very concerning for Serbia is just how little they've managed to get Mitrovic into the game so far, because really, really difficult not to be so isolated in the game. Denmark have the ball 35 yards from goal. Christian Eriksen turns it around the corner, and all of a sudden it's played now back to Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen tried to ride the challenge, couldn't quite do so. Denmark throwing bodies in the direction of the ball. It's going to be a free kick for Serbia, just outside the Serbia half. Is that going to be a yellow card? Yes, it is, for Holman. And Holman just gets right up in the referee's face, and there's a little shake of the head, but it is going to be a free kick for Serbia. And in fairness, I think Holman did dive in. Maybe he's kept his studs down, and too much in the way of actual contact in the game. So it does remain 0-0. Holman then misses the next match because he goes into the referee's notebook. So Denmark 0, Serbia 0, England 0, Slovenia 0 in Group C. And is there going to be an opportunity before this first half is out? 30 minutes on the clock, and in terms of chances created in the game, very few really to shout about for either side. Now Højbjerg trying to make things happen just outside the centre circle on the right hand side for Denmark, and now come back into their own half. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score.
zipped into Christian Eriksen. He in turn finds Win. Rasmus Højlund was looking to pick up the ball, and now Christian Eriksen will move the ball out to the right-hand side and finds Bar. Bar now, right-footed, just slides the ball into the penalty area, and Serbia have to scuttle it behind for a corner kick. And Pavlovic wasn't quite sure where Rasmus Højlund was, wasn't quite sure where his goalkeeper was, and when Bar fed the ball into the penalty area, it was Pavlovic who felt as though he needed to take action. And Christian Eriksen is going to hurl the ball into the penalty area on that right-hand side. Christian Eriksen just takes a little bit of isotonic sports drink and plays it short to Højbjerg. Højbjerg now to Rasmus Højlund. It's Rasmus Højlund for Denmark, and he has a striker goal inside the penalty area, but Rajkovic gathers it low and gathers it well. But for the first time in the game, we see Rasmus Højlund just create a little bit of space for himself and unleash a bit of a stinger of a strike from just inside the box on that right-hand side, left-footed. Couldn't quite test Rajkovic fully though. A decent saves in the game on that. Well, it's been all Denmark in the game, you'd have to say, and they will feel as though they've done enough to potentially a goal in front here, because they've had the better of the opportunities, but it does remain 0-0, and Serbia making inroads now on the left-hand side. Got 2 to aim outside the penalty area. A good opportunity now for Serbia. Christian Eriksen was back there defensively, and now Højbjerg pulls away with the ball for Denmark, and Bar has it up and over halfway on that right-hand side, and Bar wants to switch the play, and Bar fires it out towards Mæhle, and Mæhle's touch is a good one, and Mæhle tries to find a way through, can't quite do so. All this being played now inside the centre circle for Denmark. Højbjerg has it once again. Højbjerg to his left-hand side, he finds Win, and it's touched now by Christensen, gathered by Højbjerg, slowed the pace of the game now, and Højbjerg will regather once again, just takes a touch or two, does Højbjerg, goes out to his right-hand side, and now it's played forward into the feet of Win. Win will take the first time, instead look for Christian Eriksen. Mitrovic has the ball, and Mitrovic wants a free kick, and he's going to get a free kick as well. He's deep inside his own half, is Alexander Mitrovic, because he was just trying to see off the challenge of Vestergaard, who in the end just gave a little nudge for good measure. And Serbia have the ball inside their own half. Serbia are in possession on the left-hand side. Serbia just sliced it up, and it was particularly pretty for Zivkovic and Pavlovic, and I don't think Serbia will wait too long before making substitutions. It remains like this as we go into the second half, because they've certainly got quality on the counter. Mitrovic trying to find a way through it, couldn't do so. 0-0 here, 0-0 in the game between England and Slovenia. So it is a Denmark free kick, and Denmark take it quickly. They're inside their own half. Denmark have the ball on the left-hand side now with Christensen, and Christensen just plays it to his right-hand side. Denmark has seen so much of the ball amongst that back three. Vestergaard, Christensen and Andersen really been very dominant, haven't they? And it is now Kasper Schmeichel who goes out to the left-hand side and finds Christian Eriksen, but it's a little bit scrappy, it's a little bit messy, it's a little bit uncoordinated from Serbia, and they will know there's lots of work to do indeed if they are to find a way to get the goal, because as it stands in the group, England would have 5 points, Denmark would have 3 points, Slovenia would have 3 points, and Serbia would also have 2 points. So Serbia would be out, and then it really is a bit of a lottery either way. It depends how this all plays out. Of course, Denmark will go through as it stands as the second place side, but with Slovenia they would be left watching and wondering. So Denmark 0, Serbia 0 to score. Denmark have the ball, but they're giving it straight back now to Serbia. A little bit sloppy from the Danes, gathered by Groupe. Groupe now zips the ball into midfield, and it's a nice touch back by Samatic. I haven't seen too much of Samatic in the last 5 minutes or so. It's collected now inside the Serbian half, and the suggestion is a 1 or 2, and certainly Gould's just barking instructions at Mitrovic and saying you've got to come tighter in, because at the moment you've got Alexander Mitrovic who's playing as a bit of an island up there by himself. Now Serbia play it a bit longer, and Bar is back there for Denmark, and can Bar get a touch on it? Yes he can. Bar into the midfield, gathered now by Jonas Wind, and Wind just feeds the ball off to Højbjerg. Højbjerg, who's controlled things in the centre of the park, goes to his right hand side, and Denmark regather and it is Denmark who are playing some pretty patient football inside their own half. It's now nudged forward by Anderson, goes to his right hand side. Anderson again does collect, and Anderson to Vestergaard. Vestergaard now just inside the centre circle, goes to his left hand side, and Denmark still in possession. It's collected now by Holman. Holman zips it forward towards Vin, and Denmark very patient indeed, just inside the centre circle, just outside the centre circle, so to the left of centre. Denmark have it in possession. Christensen rather hopefully nudges it forward towards Rasmus Højlund, who's absolutely embroiled in that duel with Milenkovic, and Rasmus Højlund goes down, clutching the back of his head and his neck, and Rasmus Højlund is a physical player, increasingly so, but he's really made his match tonight so far with Milenkovic, and hasn't really managed to too many chances in the game, has it? So it remains England 0, Slovenia 0 elsewhere, and Denmark 0, Serbia 0 in this one. It's a free kick now for Denmark inside the centre circle, and Denmark have the ball at the back through Vestergaard. Vestergaard and Anderson just popping it around amongst themselves, and now it is Barr who collects, and Barr goes back inside, and now it is Kasper Schmeichel who has the ball outside his own 6-yard box. The Danish fans are certainly out of course. Of course, geographically it's a nice easy one for the Danes to take the train down into Germany, and it's some really good Euros from their perspective for the match-going Danish fans. Take up the car and drive. There's a few flights of course as well, but the Danish fans are out in full force inside this stadium. Rasmus Højlund with the touch, and now Højbjerg. Højbjerg just gesticulating to one or two in front of him. A little bit more movement, I think, as Højbjerg goes to his right-hand side. Højbjerg with the ball out of his feet. Now Barr. Barr goes back in field, and it's collected by Vestergaard. Vestergaard in field to Højbjerg. Højbjerg, right-footed, just zips it intelligently forward now, and now it's collected by Christian Eriksen, who nudges it off to Barr, and Barr's ball inside the penalty area. Rasmus Højlund is there, and there's the cutback, and Vin just passed the ball over the crossbar, but it was a very nice interchange from Denmark. They were zipping it around neatly on that right-hand side. Eventually the ball came in from Barr, and Holman it was who was joining the attack, and Holman with the touch, well, the faintest the touch towards Rasmus Højlund, and eventually the ball dropped the Win, and Win really, I think, from that kind of position, yes, it's a bit of an awkward bounce in front of him, but he'll feel as though he should do better from that kind of range. And Denmark now really have, you would say, have the far better of this first half. Jonas Vin has got in some decent positions as well. It is Serbia with the ball, shy of 40 minutes played, and Serbia haven't offered anything going forward in the game as yet. It's a game, you know, remind you that they have to win to stand any chance of qualifying for the last 16, and I really do think that we're going to see Milinkovic-Savic and Vlahovic potentially at half-time in this, because from a Serbian perspective it's just hard to see them going through as it stands. But when you look at that bench, you look at Vlahovic, the Juventus striker, you look at Milinkovic-Savic and Jovic as well, who's recovered from an illness to be on the bench tonight. I mean, there is options there, and there's possibilities. So it's back now with Kasper Schmeichel, the man, of course, who won the Premier League title with Leicester City. And Kasper Schmeichel, it is Denmark who've slowed the pace of the game down slightly, and Denmark now who have the ball outside their own box. Denmark once again in possession on the right-hand side now. Vestergaard collects it slightly more central, plays it to Holman, who will get a yellow card and will miss their next match should they go through to the last 16 of the competition. Now it's Mæhle. Mæhle has the ball on the left-hand side. It's gathered by Vestergaard. Vestergaard just outside the centre circle. Vestergaard zips it to his left-hand side and finds the run of Højbjerg. Højbjerg plays it forward looking to Holman, and now it's gathered by Højbjerg once more just outside the centre circle to the left of centre, goes it back to his left hand side and finds Christensen, and It is now played forward towards Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund just outside the penalty area. Rasmus Højlund with a layoff toward Win, and Win finds Christian Eriksen, and Christian Eriksen to Hulman. Hulman goes to his right hand side, and Barr is inside the penalty area. Barr instead goes back to Christian Eriksen, and the impetus of the initial attack has been lost somewhat, but Denmark in possession once again, and Denmark have the ball in the centre circle, and they are rather patient in possession. Denmark now with Christian Eriksen. It's gathered by Vestergaard. Vestergaard goes to Christensen. Christensen coming forward intelligently on that left-hand side, and Mæhle with the step overs, and Mæhle just feeds it inside, and it's collected now by Hulman, and Hulman goes to his right-hand side and finds Barr, considered to strike a goal just to the right of centre outside the penalty area. Here's Anderson. Anderson's ball in is a pretty poor one, and it's gathered by Rajkovic. So it is Denmark 0, Serbia 0. In terms of chances created in the game, well, a effort from Jonas Win over the crossbar, and a header from Alexander Barr, probably representing the best of the opportunities in context. Serbia have the ball at the back. They're trying to play out from the back, but it's tactically hasn't really worked out particularly well for them in the game so far. They do have the ball now on that right hand side, and zip forward cleverly, looking for Mihailovic inside the penalty area, and Denmark do try and scramble it away, and Barr was back there just outside the confines of the penalty area. Barr just prevents it going out for a corner kick, and it's going to be a throw-in now for Serbia with 43 minutes on the clock, or just less in fact. Throw in right by the corner flag on the left-hand side for Serbia. It will be taken on that left-hand side by Zivkovic. I haven't seen too much of Zivkovic in the game so far whatsoever, but it will be Andrija Zivkovic to take the throw. Zivkovic now making a second bite at the cherry because the ball's back to him, and Serbia now coming forwards and flying the ball into the penalty area, but Denmark have bodies back there and will try and complete the clearance, and Rasmus Højlund has a good touch. Rasmus Højlund now on the breakaway for Denmark. Collected by Denmark again, Højlund, and it is now Denmark back in possession. Hulman feeds it to his right-hand side as we nudge towards half-time. Don't think there'll be too much of additional time at the end of the opening 45, because the truth be told, there just hasn't been too much for Denmark to get excited about, really. Been many stoppages. There was the brief VAR check for the ball that was funneled into the back of the net. Denmark in possession, deep inside their own half, firing it long towards Rasmus Højlund, goes beyond everyone and collected by Rajkovic. Rajkovic just managing. Options on the bench as Kasper Schmeichel just launches the ball away for Denmark, and Denmark have won a free kick deep inside their own half. And so Tadic on for Samardzic for Serbia, and also, well, I think it is Luka Jovic on for Nemanja Gudel. So double substitution for Serbia. Certainly the immediacy of the situation, the fact they have to go out there and score a goal and win the game to keep their hopes and dreams alive in the tournament is definitely a big factor in that double substitution at half time. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 to score. Denmark have the ball right on the centre circle, and Denmark now trying to just pop the ball back to their goalkeeper, but Mitrovic tries to squeeze in to get a touch on it. Kasper Schmeichel will just about keep the ball in play. Denmark with the ball in the right back slot just by the corner flag, and they've launched it up now up towards halfway. Confirmation as well that Skov Olsen has come on for Jonas Wind, who didn't really have a great game, did he, in that opening 45 minutes. So one change for Denmark and two for Serbia at the start of the second half. It is Serbia who are in possession. The ball is launched to the right hand side. It's just slightly overcooked, and it's going to be a throw in for Denmark right on halfway. Just reiterating the standings as they are. England have 5 points, Denmark have 3, Slovenia on 3, and so it is Denmark as it stands that would finish second in the group. Denmark have the ball on the left hand side, feeding it into the penalty area towards Rasmus Højlund, and Serbia just about managed to scramble the ball away. Serbia need to score, they need a goal. Barnau with the ball on the right hand side, flings in a decent cross into the penalty area. Serbia with the clearance, but Denmark will pick the ball up on the left hand side. They've got a throw on the left hand side, which will be taken by Christensen, and Christensen just leaves it instead. And now Denmark have the ball through Vestergaard. Vestergaard inside the centre circle. Vestergaard considered going left, and now he's just feeding the ball to his right-hand side. It's collected now by Skov Olsen, the substitute. Skov Olsen towards the edge of the penalty area. Now Bar with the cross. Bar with the cross inside the penalty area. Comes towards the back post and kickballs around inside the confines of the penalty area. But Serbia do manage to get it away. Mitrovic tussling for it. Mitrovic now wants a free kick, and Mitrovic is just surrounding the referee and asking the question, but it's not going to be a free kick for Serbia. It's going to be a throw-in though for Serbia on their left-hand side. A moment or so ago, the ball fitted to the penalty area from Bar, looking for the run of Rasmus Højlund. Just didn't quite come off in the end, and Serbia managed to scramble the ball away. It is now Serbia will just about keep that play all the way on the left-hand side. Yes, they will. It's very well done back by Zivkovic. Pavlovic now with the ball in, and Bar got a touch on it. Behind for a corner kick for Serbia. It's better from Serbia at the start of the second half. So Serbia do have a corner kick and something to work with in the game. Serbia now have a corner kick, 48 minutes on the clock, 0-0 the score, also 0-0 in the game between England and Slovenia. Kasper Schmeichel is just orchestrating and directing one or two around him. It's Tadic who will fire the ball into the penalty area. Header keeps it alive inside the confines of the penalty area. But now Christian Eriksen will try and break away for Denmark. Will that be a free kick? Yes, it will. Free kick for Denmark, and free kick for Denmark inside their own half. It's not considered taking quickly, but in the end they opted not to take it quickly, just taking a moment or so for Denmark to just regather possession slightly on that right hand side. 49 minutes on the clock, Denmark in possession. Ball is played on the right hand side for Bar. Bar zips it into midfield. Denmark now with all of the ball, and Denmark have it once again on Anderson. Anderson goes to his left hand side and feeds it to Vestergaard. Vestergaard 5 yards to his left hand side again, and Denmark in possession. Denmark all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel, now gathered by Anderson. Anderson assessing options left and right, finds Bar. And Bar now just feeds the ball into midfield, and it's kicked forward now towards Højbjerg. Højbjerg to Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen trying to find Rasmus Højlund. It's Rasmus Højlund for Denmark. Rasmus Højlund evades one challenge. Ball now breaks on the just outside the confines of the penalty area. Rasmus Højlund still going. Rasmus Højlund finds support in the form of Skov-Olsen. Skov-Olsen's inside the area. Skov-Olsen's effort takes a nick on his way through. It's behind for a corner kick, and the substitute very nearly opening the scoring for Denmark. He just opened up his body and wanted to place the ball in the far corner. He was inside the penalty area on the right hand side, and left-footed. It just came off Milenkovic in the end, and behind for a corner kick. So Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score, and it will be a corner kick now for Denmark, which is on the edge of the penalty area. They've taken it short, now zipped into a cluster of bodies, and Serbia have managed to scrap it away. It is still wafer thin in this group, and as it goes on and on, Serbia are going to have to take more and more chances in the game. So it is Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and it is Denmark in possession right on halfway, and it's gathered by Vestergaard, and it goes all the way back towards Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Kasper Schmeichel does have Anderson to his right hand side, and Kasper Schmeichel just taking a chance or two, eventually finding Anderson, the Crystal Palace defender, who launches it forwards, and Kasper Schmeichel, I think, just momentarily wasn't quite sure where Anderson was, and Serbia now have a throw in on their left hand side. Zivkovic will take Zivkovic with the throw for Serbia, and Zivkovic considered going back to his goalkeeper. Instead, Zivkovic launches it forwards, and it's now smashed forward by Denmark, looking for Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund trying to get on the end of it. Milenkovic is there though. Milenkovic deals with the danger, and Serbia have the ball on the right hand side, just a couple of yards in from the touchline on that right hand side, and it's launched long down the line but out of play, and it will be a throw for Denmark. So it is Denmark who have the ball. Rasmus Højlund was trying to get on the end of it, he couldn't quite do so. A reminder that as it stands in Group C, England are going through as Group C winners, and that means they will face, they'll play a last 16 tie Gelsenkirchen on Sunday against one of the third place sides. That could be the Dutch, who are a bit of a wild card, I think, in that group of third place sides that are going to go through. Here is Mitrovic for Serbia inside the Denmark half, but Denmark have enough bodies back there. Skov-Olsen with the touch, but Skov-Olsen gives it away, and here come Serbia once more, and it's a chance now for Dusan Tadic. Tadic slides the ball through, and it's a good opportunity here for Serbia, and it's bundled into the back of the net, and Serbia have scored, but the flag is up. Well, Anderson rose inside the penalty area, and Serbia convinced they've scored. The ball is in the back of the net. The Serbia players are asking the question, was that offside? That's the big question. Have Serbia scored on 53 minutes? Anderson looks a little bit dazed and confused. The ball was played through really intelligently initially by, well, in fact, we're just seeing the replays here, and the left shoulder is indeed offside. It's the right decision. It's a really cracking call by the official on the far side, because Serbia thought they'd scored. The flag was up instantaneously, and it will of course be checked by the VAR, but it is a disallowed goal. It was Luka Jovic is offside as he was running through after Anderson had bundled the ball into the back of his own net. A bit of a let-up really for Anderson, but the goal is disallowed. It's the correct decision as well, and it's Denmark 0, Serbia 0. It's a lovely running behind, and that just shows what Luka Jovic can do, and Novak Djokovic is watching on. Of course, the Serbia legend, the real legend in Serbian sporting history, really, Novak Djokovic. It's incredible what he's done over the years on the tennis court. We will of course await to see whether Novak Djokovic is fit to play Wimbledon. Suggestion is that he's back to training and shake off that knee injury. Here's an opportunity for Rasmus Højlund, who goes down under the challenge from Milenkovic, who's on a yellow card. Referee says no foul, and Rasmus Højlund has been frustrated all night for Denmark, because that tussle with Milenkovic has been really a great little subplot to proceedings, hasn't it? So Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and here come Denmark on the right hand side. Serbia are trying to find a situation in which they can grab a goal, and they very nearly did so through Luka Jovic, who does add something very different to this Serbia side. Denmark now with the ball just outside the Serbian penalty area. Anderson
has it on that right-hand side. Now Barr, can he get across into the penalty area? Barr cuts back on himself, just a yard in from the touchline on the right-hand side. Challenges are flying in. Referee eventually says it will be a free kick for Denmark. And it is Denmark 0, Serbia 0 on 55 minutes. And still it is a case of frustration for Serbia, but it's a free kick for Denmark, which will be taken by Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen, right-footed on that right-hand side. 55 minutes on the clock. Christian Eriksen is going to feed the ball into the penalty area. It's a slice clearance away for a throw-in for Denmark. And it's going to be an opportunity now for Barr to take the throw deep inside the Serbia half. Barr now with the throw for Denmark. And Barr is considering launching the ball into the penalty area. Barr does eventually launch it into the penalty area, and it's smashed away now by Mitrovic. And Mitrovic launches it long and is found now by Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel in turn goes long but can only find Ravic's opposite number. So Serbia had the ball in the back of the net and ultimately offside Luka Jovic. He was just offside by a whisker. Remains 0-0 here and 0-0 between England and Slovenia. So it is opportunity for Denmark on the left-hand side. Ball stays in play, and Denmark have possession through Rasmus Højlund just outside the penalty area. Rasmus Højlund with the ball into the penalty area. He tried to add the elements of surprise to Rasmus Højlund with the ball in, and just had a little bit too much zip and pace on it, and it goes out of play for a throw, and was offside for Luka Jovic just a moment or so ago. Mighty type big goal that would have been for Serbia. Would have absolutely turned this contest on its head. 57 minutes on the clock. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 in the game, and it is Denmark in possession inside their own penalty area. Kasper Schmeichel takes a touch with his right foot and then launches it away with his left foot. Now Christian Eriksen inside his own half. Christian Eriksen with a searching ball to the right-hand side, looking for the run of Skov Olsen. Skov Olsen, can he keep it in play? No, his touch was far too heavy, Skov Olsen. It's a shame from a Denmark perspective because he's in a really good position, and it is going to be another substitution now for Denmark, and it is going to be, I think, Rasmus Højlund, who's certainly worked really hard out there tonight, but just hasn't had that moment, has he? And it will be Goldberg to come on in his place, and so Goldberg is on for Denmark. Kasper Dolberg, the 26-year-old forward who plays for Anderlecht, 15 goals in 39 games for Anderlecht in their domestic league in Belgium. Last season, spells at Ajax, Nice, Sevilla, and Hoffenheim, but really the best goal-scoring season of his career by quite a distance recently in Belgium. So, 2 substitutions for Denmark and 2 substitutions for Serbia in the game so far. 58 minutes on the clock. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Remains England 0, Slovenia 0 in the other game in Group C. So as it stands, Denmark are going through. One goal would absolutely change everything. Here is an opportunity for Højbjerg. It's 35 yards from goal. Højbjerg slicing through to Skov Olsen. Skov Olsen's inside the penalty area on the right-hand side. Just goes outside the area now. Back to Barr. Barr back to Skov Olsen. Skov Olsen on the right-hand side by the corner flag. Skov Olsen manages to feed in the cross into the penalty area. Will it drop now for Christian Eriksen? Yes, it will. Christian Eriksen gets it back right on the edge of the penalty area. Now the opportunity for the striker goal is smashed over the crossbar. And it is a goal kick for Serbia, who are very well aware of the fact that a goal now for them would put them up to 4 points and move them above Slovenia, move them above Denmark. They would be in a great position to qualify. So it does make for an absolutely fascinating final half an hour. It is Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Denmark just about managed to
scrape the ball away outside their own penalty area. And it's Denmark once again in possession. And Denmark now with Skov-Olsen. Skov-Olsen's been lively since coming on, just trying to stretch his legs on that right hand side. It's really well done actually by Pavlovic, and Milenkovic mops up at the back. Pavlovic now in the left back position now for Serbia, goes back to Milenkovic, and Milenkovic, I think would have been pretty pleased to see Rasmus Højlund substituted a moment or so ago. Some battle between Milenkovic and Rasmus Højlund, wasn't it? Gathered now by Denmark and gathered by Christian Eriksen just inside the Serbia half. It is Denmark again who are pouring forwards on the right hand side of Bar. Bar just slides it in field. Bar wants it back, and it's Skov-Olsen. Skov-Olsen beats it back inside now for Højbjerg. Højbjerg to the edge of the penalty area. Christian Eriksen now. Bar tees it up really invitingly for Hulman to officially scored a screamer from similar range in this tournament, but didn't quite happen there. And so it remains Denmark 0, Serbia 0. It is still England 0, Slovenia 0. The last 16 is starting to take shape. Fascinating, shouldn't it? The last 16. So Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score. Serbia must score, and that is what should make it a very, very exciting final half an hour to the game. Serbia must score. Denmark at the moment are finishing second in the group, and Denmark do have the ball, but it's given away rather sloppily. In actual fact by Vestergaard. The ball is back now with Rajkovic in goal for Serbia. He's made a couple of half-decent saves in the game so far. So it is Serbia who are in possession at the back. Serbia who are coming forwards now on the left-hand side. They gather it through Pavlovic, and Pavlovic cuts inside 5 yards inside and finds the movement of Zivkovic. And it is Serbia who are coming forwards now, but they're just on the halfway line. Everyone's behind the ball for Denmark, and I think as the game wears on, Denmark will be increasingly aware of the fact that a draw is going to be good enough for them, at least as it stands. Here comes Serbia though, trying to make things happen, and Denmark do a bodies back there, but Serbia have the ball just outside the confines of the penalty area. Could be an opportunity now for Serbia on the right hand side. They've got bodies inside the area, the crosses into the penalty area. Denmark do well though in terms of the clearance, and surely Milinkovic-Savic and Vlahovic, we're going to see them sooner rather than later, because quite simply Serbia need a goal. Denmark have the ball through Skov-Olsen on that right hand side. It is Denmark in possession inside the centre circle, collected now by Hulman. Hulman goes to his right hand side and finds Bar. Bar's 35 yards from goal, simple strike with goal. Bar's effort, his attempt to pass at least is deflected, ricochets behind for a corner kick. And now it is Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and a corner kick for Denmark. Quite a few of these throughout the duration of the game, haven't they? Denmark. And it will be Christian Eriksen again to try to cross and take it. There's a sea of red and white Danish supporters in the crowd who are swirling their flags and just really making a bit of a racket, because they sense maybe there's a moment in the game for them. Christian Eriksen with the corner kick, which invites it towards the back post. The header of goal is right down the throat actually of Rajkovic, and certainly it was the suggestion that Serbia wanted a foul, I think, inside the penalty area. It was Vestergaard who got a head on it in the end. He was rather backpedaling, was Vestergaard, and his header just moved straight into the arms of Predrag Rajkovic in goal for Serbia. At some point Serbia are going to have to take a gamble. At some point Serbia are going to have to throw on Vlahovic and Milinkovic-Savic, you feel, to find a way through. It is Serbia who have the ball at the back through Milenkovic. Milenkovic goes to his right hand side, and Serbia are in possession inside the Danish half, but Denmark win it back very neatly indeed, and the ball was played forward looking for Dolberg, didn't quite come off, and now Serbia will move the ball back with Rajkovic. Rajkovic hammers the ball forward out from the back, and under underneath it is Anderson. Anderson just knocks it back to his goalkeeper, and Kasper Schmeichel rolls it out to Anderson. And forward come Denmark once again. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Remains England 0, Slovenia 0 elsewhere in the group, and a goal changes everything in so many different ways. And for Slovenia, they could get a goal against England, they would go to 5 points on the group and they'd be top of the group. Incredible. Denmark have the ball now on the right hand side. Wolf's trying to find a way through. Really, a goal in any game here really does change the complete complexion of the game, because England have already qualified, so that adds another dimension to it. And it is Denmark in possession, deep inside their own half. Denmark once again with the ball, and they have the ball just outside their own penalty area. Zipped in now to Vestergaard, and Denmark playing neatly out from the back. It's collected now by Hallman, but Hallman has the option to his left hand side. Hallman does go to his left hand side. Here come Denmark and Mæhle. Mæhle on that left hand side. Mæhle cutting infield with his right foot. Mæhle finds Hallman, and Hallman to Højbjerg. Højbjerg just trying to go inside and out, and Denmark regather the ball with Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen 35 yards from goal. Finds Hallman. Hallman has an effort goal, just deflected over the crossbar. Did it take a nick of its way through? Certainly Hallman seemed to think it did, but I think it's going to be a goal kick in the end. 66 minutes played then, no goals in the game. Another substitution for Serbia, and this is the one that I thought would come a little bit sooner than it has, if truth be told. Dusan Vlahovic, the Juventus striker, is coming on. Vlahovic is coming on now for Ilic, and well, I mean, this is a really, really positive step from Serbia, because they now have Tadic, Mitrovic, Jovic, Vlahovic all on the pitch, and my goodness, it's go for broke. And you've got to respect the decision to make these kind of calls with enough time for Serbia to actually find a way to win the game. Played forward by Serbia to Mitrovic, and it's gathered now by Zivkovic on the left hand side, and Pavlovic will just reprocess possession for Serbia. It's collected once again now by Milenkovic. Milenkovic at the back for Serbia is just moving the ball through midfield. 7 minutes on the clock, remains 0-0, and Serbia trying to make things happen. Ball played to the penalty area, is kept alive too. Vlahovic was trying to pick up the pieces, couldn't quite do so. Vlahovic darting into the challenges, and the game has now got a little bit of added jeopardy, because Vlahovic is on the pitch, and Serbia have so many forward players on the pitch. It's got to go right for them now in the final 20 minutes or so. They've got to find a way to get a goal, and will Denmark brew so much of missed chances, because it wasn't like they created a whole handful of opportunities, but it's certainly they had the better of the play. As it stands in Group C then, England will face the Netherlands in the last 16 in Gelsenkirchen on Sunday. Well, I mean, this could change after tomorrow's final group games in E and F though, but wow, that would really be a cracking last 16 contest, wouldn't it? So, Serbia have the ball inside the centre circle, and moving it through one or two players really invitingly, and now an opportunity to fizz the ball into the penalty area. Denmark do have bodies back there inside the area. Vlahovic is potentially accused of a little foul inside the box. Certainly that's what Anderson felt like. The referee said no, so it is a throw-in for Serbia on that left-hand side. Serbia will go backwards all the way back towards Milenkovic, right on halfway. Milenkovic feeds it forward now, and here come Serbia once again inside the centre circle. Milenkovic has it. Milenkovic just didn't have too many options, did he? And so it is all the way back to Rajkovic in goal for Serbia. But the last 5 minutes have been much better for Serbia, and just a sense now that they're starting to dictate things, they're starting to utilise all the forward players they got out on the pitch. Serbia do have the ball, and they will feed it out to their right-hand side, and Velkovic does gather. Serbia now moving up towards halfway, and Serbia crossing halfway, and now an opportunity for potentially Tadic to get a touch on it. It's really nicely done by Serbia on the right-hand side. The ball is fizzed into the penalty area. Denmark clear it behind for a corner but all of a sudden the Serbia supporters inside this ground are starting to believe, they're starting to feel as though maybe there's something in this game for them, and Tadic is geeing up the crowd, and Tadic is asking for more from the supporters. It's Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and Serbia are starting to feel like there could be a moment in the game for them. They need it, of course. They need a goal. There's no doubt about that. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Denmark must score to have any chance of qualifying for the last 16 of Euro 2024. Corner kick for Denmark. It will be taken into a half-decent area. It's Tadic who swung it in, but it's cleared by Denmark, and Serbia will regather. They have the ball now inside the centre circle, and they have it through Zivkovic. Zivkovic goes to his right-hand side and finds the run of Lukic, and the pace of this attack is a little bit more static from a Serbian perspective, and they do have the ball now at the back. Do Serbia once more. They're going to go long, and they're going to look for the run of Mitrovic, and Mitrovic just touches it on intelligently, and here's an opportunity now for Serbia. She couldn't quite find a way through, and Denmark will try and break, and Christian Eriksen feeds it forwards, and Christian Eriksen feeds it forwards intelligently to Skov Olsen, and Skov Olsen on the left-hand side gets on his right foot, cuts inside for Holman. Holman goes to his left-hand side indeed, and now Denmark do fire the ball into the penalty area. Denmark want a penalty kick for the shove inside the area, but I don't think they're going to get it. It was Goldberg that went down. Milenkovic is just, he's looking a little bit of a nervous man. They are indeed going to check it. Ball's fired into the penalty area. Milenkovic might have had an arm up on Goldberg, but it wasn't enough for a penalty to be awarded. And so it is a Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Serbia must score to stand any chance of qualifying, and well, Serbia know that if they win here and Slovenia don't beat England, as is the case at the moment, then they will be the side that do go through in the runners-up spot in the group. So it's going to be another substitution now for Serbia, and it's going to be Ilivic to come off and Mladenovic to come on, and so it is a substitution of the game for Serbia, and how can that change the complexion of things? Mladenovic is on then for Serbia. Filip Mladenovic, the Panathinaikos defender. We wait to see the reshuffle that is going to occur. That switch. 73 minutes on the clock. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score. And Denmark have got a bit of defending to do here as Serbia come forward, but Denmark have got bodies forwards, and it is all the way at the back through Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel now just feeds the ball out of his own penalty area, collected by Anderson. Anderson cuts the ball back inside. Denmark are trying to work the ball out from the back, and Denmark zip the ball forward intelligently, looking towards Skov Olsen on the right hand side, run about 5 yards in from the touchline, but Denmark do win it back, and they're going to get a free kick here. Well, in fact, the free kick is going to be for what happened 5 minutes or so ago, 5 seconds or so ago, I should say, and it is a free kick for Serbia. Serbia in possession as Denmark are lining up another double substitution, and I don't understand why as well. It looks as though Delaney's going to come on for Denmark, as Serbia are starting to dictate in terms of possession. Pavlovic has the ball for Serbia on that left-hand side, collected now by Milenkovic, and Milenkovic goes inside, and Milenkovic's ball is just played slightly behind his teammate, but it's regathered now by Dusan Tadic, and it's collected once again now by Veljkovic, and forward come Serbia again, everyone behind the ball for Denmark, and it's now Serbia who are in possession on that left-hand side, and Serbia trying to poke it towards Vlahovic, who goes down in a heap. No free kicks as the referee referee. Here's Christian Eriksen on the breakaway. Christian Eriksen's got Dolberg in support. Christian Eriksen potentially wanted a free kick. Instead, he just lays it square for Ulrich. He might fancy the striking goal. Instead, goes to Scott Olsen just outside the penalty area. And now Alexander Barr does gather, and Denmark are just retaining a bit more possession. Denmark in possession once again on the right-hand side. Denmark have it through Anderson, and Anderson just feeds it forward once again, and now an opportunity for Denmark to flick the ball into the penalty area. They do just that, all the way to the back post. Will it be kept in play by Mæhle? Yes, it will. Mæhle cuts it back in field for Højbjerg. Højbjerg right-footed, 35 yards from goal. Now Scott Olsen, what can he make happen? Back to Højbjerg, 35 yards from goal once again. Little sandwich into the confines of the penalty area. Serbia try and win the ball back. They're going to get it back. Maybe they... Well, it's a little bit messy in the end, and the whistle goes anyway. A free kick. Remains Denmark 0, Serbia 0. And here comes the double substitution for Denmark. And it will be Christensen to come on, and also Delaney. So it is Holman to come off, so Alexander Barr. So Thomas Delaney, the Anderlecht man, is on, and there's also a substitution which sees Victor Christiansen, the Bologna defender, the 21-year-old, on for Denmark. I just wonder, Denmark are going to get a little bit nervous now in the remaining 15 minutes, or less than 15 minutes really, in terms of the official 90. It will be added on time, of course, at the end of the night. It also is England 0, Slovenia 0 in the other game. So as it stands, it is England on 5 points, Denmark on 3 points. Those two will go through. It's mighty tight, isn't it? And it is Serbia in possession just over halfway. Serbia have the ball on the left of centre. Milenkovic goes to his left-hand side to Pavlovic. Pavlovic cuts the ball in field to Milenkovic. Milenkovic goes instead to Lukic, and it is Serbia who are in possession once again. Milenkovic, who took a very early yellow card in the game, just beats the ball forwards, and Serbia have the ball on the right-hand side, gathered by Dusan Tadic. Tadic, what can he conjure on the right-hand side? 2 yards in from the touchline on that right-hand side, inside the Denmark half. This is being played. Everyone behind the ball now for Denmark, and Mitrovic is down in a heap, but he's beaten the turf, and Mitrovic is in some degree of discomfort, clearly, and it's going to be to see exactly. Well, Mitrovic was involved in a little scuffle with Anderson. I mean, we just see the replay on the monitors here, and there's really not much in it whatsoever. I think Mitrovic is trying to make something happen there, and an element of desperation about the Serbia situation, because they know they don't really look like scoring in the game so far. They do have a 10-minute window to find a goal. There is going to be a VAR check here. Mitrovic initially made contact with Anderson, and then there was a coming together more than anything, and Anderson just had a few choice words for Mitrovic, as Mitrovic was tossing his body around on the deck, and it is Mitrovic who is coming off the field of play, just touching his left hip, but he's going to be okay to continue. There is still one substitution to play with for Serbia, and Serbia do have the ball now just over halfway. Serbia feed it forward intelligently, and it's regathered now just outside the centre circle. Serbia in possession. What can they create? What can they conjure? And is there a moment for them in the game? And it could be an opportunity now for Serbia as the ball is flung into the penalty area. Denmark, though, with so many bodies back there to alleviate things, and everyone is forward now for Serbia. They know that margins are so thin. They know they need a goal, and Serbia now trying to desperately make things happen by the corner flag on the right-hand side, but Denmark with bodies back there, and it's played forward now towards Dolberg for Denmark, but Milenkovic steps in, and Milenkovic gathers the ball for Serbia, and you feel as though this is just going to be attack versus defence. As it stands, Denmark. Ball is played into the penalty area, and could be an opportunity now for Serbia. Drops it bicycling now for Mitrovic to pass it wide of the upright. And in 80 minutes of football, where chances have been at an absolute premium, that goes down as a golden moment, which Alexander Mitrovic couldn't take. The ball just played. Just found itself in the path of Mitrovic. He opened up his body, right-footed, to the left of centre, inside the penalty area, and he just couldn't quite manage to find a way to test the goalkeeper. It was Vlahovic who set him up, and Mitrovic with the effort on goal just wide. And if truth be told, it's a big moment that Mitrovic has got to do far better with. Well, Mitrovic can't believe it. Alexander Mitrovic has waited all game long for that kind of opportunity, and I just think it's worth reiterating, because it's getting absolutely crazy really in Group C in terms of just how fine the margins are here. Denmark, as it stands, will finish second in Group C, but they are level on almost every dimension apart from disciplinary points, which is just quite incredible. Slovenia would still qualify as it stands for the last 16 due to their placing as a third best side, but it is just so tight. And Serbia, I mean, all of this would be absolutely no good, because Serbia know they need a goal. Denmark in possession on the left-hand side. Denmark is the ball into the penalty area, and Dolberg was the target, didn't quite come off. And ball comes Serbia now on that left-hand side. And Denmark have got some defending to do here, because Pavlovic is pouring forwards and he crosses halfway, and Pavlovic has got plenty of players in support, and Pavlovic tried to lay it square and couldn't do so, and Denmark are back in possession, and Pavlovic just didn't quite have the option, did he? And is that a free kick? Referee says no. Serbia win the ball back in a good position. He was Dusan Vlahovic, and Vlahovic is 35 yards from goal, and Vlahovic goes to his right hand side, and Denmark now have everyone back, and Serbia have everyone forward, and here's an opportunity for Serbia. And Serbia now throw the ball into the penalty area towards Mitrovic, who got there with a header. Vlahovic does keep it in play. Could be an opportunity now for Serbia still. Dusan Tadic, and Tadic feeds the ball in towards the back post, and Serbia are absolutely adamant they want a penalty. Mitrovic is right in the face of the referee, and Alexander Mitrovic went down wanting a penalty. He's saying VAR has to be checked. Mitrovic is booked in the aftermath for his protestations, and Mitrovic went down looking for a penalty. There was nothing doing, and so it is a case of Mitrovic after a penalty that he's never going to get. We're seeing the replay on the monitor here, and Tadic played the ball in left-footed just outside the penalty area, and Mitrovic went down. There was an arm, there was a hand on the back of the shirt from Mela, and Mitrovic just went down so theatrically. And why isn't he looking to score, Mitrovic? Why isn't he looking to score? Incredible. Mela's arm was up, yes, but the contact was minimal, and it was a great ball in for Mitrovic, and he's just got only himself to blame. He's looking for a penalty. He's looking for a penalty when, well, Anderson and Mitrovic are involved in a bit of a discussion here, but I've got to say, it is really difficult to see Alexander Mitrovic's point of view here, because Mitrovic wants a penalty. He's not going to get a penalty for that. It was a really soft way to go down, and it is, well, there's one or two objects on the pitch now, in fact, so the game has been stopped momentarily. It remains 0-0 here, and it is Denmark 0, Serbia 0. It is absolutely very tense and tight in terms of how this group is unravelling. I mean, we knew that England had already qualified before his ball was kicked tonight. It is it's very tight indeed. When you look at the goals scored in Group C compared to other groups, it really has been a bit of a disappointment in terms of goals. I mean, Group A 17 goals, Group B 14 goals, Group D 15 goals, Group E 9 goals, but still with a game to play, and Group F 12 goals, and Group C languishing with 7 goals. So there is still the absolute possibility for high drama here. It is Denmark 0, Serbia 0. And Serbia need a goal. Serbia must throw caution to the wind in this one. Denmark have possession just by the halfway line, and now they've played it forward intelligently, looking for Mæhle. Mæhle just outside the penalty area on the right hand side, and Mæhle's trying to hit the dead ball line, and Mæhle does hang up across towards the back post, and Denmark have bodies back there. It's going to be a corner kick because Dolberg was in the heart of the action, and Mæhle did really well initially on that right hand side just to hang up the cross, and then it is going to be a corner kick for Denmark. It was the ball played towards the back post, and it was Mæhle who hung up the cross, and it was Dolberg who was trying to get in at the back post. Really good defending at the back by Zivkovic. Did really well. Zivkovic with a touch on it to clear it from the two Danish players that were coming in. 86 minutes played. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. As it stands, Denmark are going through. Serbia are going out. Serbia need a goal. They need to win the game. It is a corner kick though for Denmark as it stands. And now CZECH Milinkovic-Savic is coming on for Serbia, and it's just incredible really that Milinkovic-Savic, who has been such an incredible player over the years for Lazio before he moved to the UAE, get himself in the Serbia line, and really was one of the top 5 players in Serie A for a couple of years. Incredible really. Corner kick then for Denmark, which Christian Eriksen will take, and Christian Eriksen is now going to hurl the ball into the penalty area, right-footed, swings it into a good area, and it's going to come to the back post of Skov-Olsen, and Skov-Olsen will regather, and in fact the referee seen something he didn't like, and it's going to be a free kick for Serbia, and so free kick for Serbia, and a substitution now for Denmark, and it looks as though it's going to be Poulsen to come on. Yusuf Poulsen, the RB Leipzig man, is going to come on for Christian Eriksen, and Christian Eriksen's put in a really good shift tonight, but Christian Eriksen who goes off. Poulsen is the player who comes on in his place. 88 minutes on the clock. 88 minutes in which we haven't seen a goal, and a goal would change everything for Serbia. And it is Serbia who have the ball at the back and have it now with Pavlovic, and Pavlovic cuts the ball inside towards Milinkovic-Savic, and Milinkovic-Savic helped it forwards, and now Serbia come once more. They're on the right hand side, and they have the ball again now with Milenkovic, and Milenkovic is coming forward, and Milenkovic is striding forward into the midfield. Now the ball is played long towards Vlahovic, and Vlahovic was underneath it, but Denmark do have bodies back there to ensure that the ball is cleared sufficiently. And now it's gathered by Milinkovic-Savic, and Milinkovic-Savic, once he got where support, the ball is just fizzed in towards Milinkovic-Savic. Actually will pick up the pieces and beat it towards Vlahovic with the effort, and it's just about over the crossbar. It will be a goal kick for Denmark, but Milinkovic-Savic and Vlahovic combining. Milinkovic-Savic just firing the ball in initially into the penalty area, came back to him, and then when he played it to Vlahovic, he was over the crossbar in the end, and Vlahovic just couldn't keep the header down. In truth, it was a pretty difficult technique for Vlahovic, and are Serbia going to get another opportunity? Novak Djokovic cutting a very frustrated figure on the touchline. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 is the score, and Serbia have the ball at the back, and Serbia are in possession. Pavlovic has it, creeping towards the 90-minute mark. It's also 0-0 as it stands between England and Slovenia. So Serbia need a goal. If Serbia could find a goal, it would absolutely put the cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it, in terms of this group. See them through to the last 16 of the competition. Here comes Serbia now. final exchanges in the contest, and we're approaching the 90-minute mark, and Serbia have the ball 35 yards from goal. Milinkovic-Savic was tussling for it. There's going to be 5 added on minutes at the end of the 90. Here come Denmark, and Denmark now trying to feed it forward towards Dolberg. Dolberg struggled to get involved in the game, really, and it is Milenkovic who has it inside the centre circle. Milenkovic has it once more inside the centre circle. Milenkovic is looking for a bit more support. Goes back 20 yards to his goalkeeper Rajkovic, and Rajkovic is just going to move the ball forwards, and Rajkovic pings the ball up towards Mitrovic. Alexander Mitrovic, who probably had the best chance of the game for either side. He can only fire it over the crossbar, and Mitrovic just hasn't been as night, has it? Milenkovic does gather. Milenkovic collects for Serbia, playing one of the allocated 5 minutes from stoppage time as well in the game between England and Slovenia in Cologne. Ball is launched forward towards Mitrovic, who touches it on, and can Serbia keep this one in play? Denmark do well to nick it out of play. It's now gathered by, it's actually going to be a throw in, is it, for Serbia on the left-hand side. Mladenovic will take it. Mladenovic with the throw. Mladenovic's throw inside for Milenkovic, and Milenkovic feeds the ball to his right-hand side, and it's now regathered by Serbia once more. Serbia have it on the left-hand side, trying to feed it in towards Vlahovic, and Vlahovic goes down. Didn't quite make anything of it, did Vlahovic, and Jovic is involved as well. Vlahovic is there once more. Vlahovic's ball is skewed out to the right-hand side, has kept it playing. Now Serbia are in possession once more, and Serbia just can't find a way through initially, but they might be able to do so now. Here's an opportunity for Serbia, just on the confines of the penalty area, and an opportunity for the striker goal for Milinkovic-Savic, and he's a player who you would have wanted it to fall to, because Milinkovic-Savic, from that kind of range, could certainly bury it, but he couldn't manage to do so on that occasion, into the grateful arms of Kasper Schmeichel. Honestly, Milinkovic-Savic in form would have slotted that home. It's not quite as good a chance as the one that fell to Alexander Mitrovic a moment or so ago, but nonetheless it's a really decent opportunity given the context of the situation in the game. And Serbia have had 2 chances in this second half. They've had two chances that they've failed to really test the goalkeeper with, and they will look back on those 2 chances assuming they go out tonight, and they'll be really disappointed they haven't managed to find a way to truly test Kasper Schmeichel in the Denmark goal. Forward come Serbia again, and Milinkovic-Savic just lifts it long towards Vlahovic, and Serbia have the ball once more, and they want a free kick, but the referee says play on. Collected now by Pavlovic, and forward comes Serbia again, just on halfway. Inside now, and on the right-hand side, Serbia have it. 3 minutes to the allocated 5 we played. We've got 2 minutes for Serbia to find a goal. Can they do so? Everyone forward now for Serbia, and the ball is floated into the penalty area all the way through to Kasper Schmeichel. He claims it gratefully, and Denmark can see the finish line now, I think, as it finishes 0-0 between England and Slovenia in Cologne. And as it stands, England would be finishing top of the group on 5 points. A goal for Serbia now would take them into second place in the group. We've got a minute, just over a minute to play. Serbia launched the ball forward into the penalty area. Denmark can't properly clear it. Bodies inside the penalty area is a little bit scrappy. Here is Dusan Vlahovic, and the decision has been given for a free kick for Serbia. Well, a free kick for Denmark, I should say, inside their own penalty area. And Denmark are so close to getting over the finish line here. There's too much in it, really. It was Jovic who just led with the elbow inside the confines of the penalty area, and Vlahovic coming in on Delaney perhaps was why the final decision was given. And Denmark 0, Serbia 0 into the final few seconds in the contest, and as it stands, Denmark are going through and Serbia are going out. So final few seconds of the contest now, and it's going to be a throw-in for Serbia. They've only got 20 seconds to play with. The Denmark fans look nervous, the Serbia fans also look nervous, but I think Denmark can start to believe that this is going to be their night in terms of the fact that they're going to get through to the last 16 unless is there a moment now? Is there one last final chance for Serbia to come forward? They're just outside the penalty area, 30 yards out, but Denmark smash it away, and the full-time whistle does go, and it's Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and it's an absolutely massive result for Denmark, because Denmark are going through to the last 16 of